Your soulmate has urgent news about last night. My beloved child, something shifted last night, and your soulmate has been carrying the weight of it ever since. They tried to convince themselves that they could wait, that another day would make these feelings easier to understand, but morning arrived and one truth became impossible to ignore: you were at the center of everything they were thinking about. Don't skip, because what happened wasn't simply another passing thought. There was a moment when your soulmate suddenly realized that staying silent could cost them the connection they value most. They remembered your presence, your words, and the feeling they could never completely explain. And then came the realization they weren't prepared for: what they feel for you has become stronger than the uncertainty that once held them back. Stay till the end, because the most surprising part of last night hasn't been revealed yet. As the hours passed, your soulmate began looking at everything differently. The distance, the unanswered questions, and every moment when they almost reached out suddenly seemed to point toward one decision. Something huge is waiting for you, because instead of asking themselves whether they should keep hiding what they feel, they started asking a completely different question: what happens if I finally tell them everything? That question changed the entire direction of the night. Don't skip. Your soulmate imagined speaking openly to you, without pretending, without hiding behind hesitation, and for the first time it felt more exciting than frightening. But there was one particular realization that stopped them completely, a realization about you that made them understand why they have never been able to simply move forward and forget this connection, and this is where the urgent news becomes impossible to ignore. Your soulmate didn't wake up feeling the same way they did yesterday. Something inside them has changed. They are beginning to understand that the connection they kept questioning may deserve a real chance, and now they are considering a move you may never have expected from them. Stay till the end, because what they decided after that realization could completely change the way you see everything that happened between you. Something huge is waiting for you. Last night wasn't the ending of this story. It may have been the moment your soulmate finally stopped running from what their heart had been trying to tell them. And what they are thinking about doing next is the part that changes everything. Before the morning light arrived, your soulmate reached a realization they could no longer push away. Last night forced them to look at this connection differently, and what they discovered about their own feelings surprised even them. Don't skip, because this is where everything begins to turn. They kept replaying one specific memory of you, a moment that once seemed ordinary but suddenly carried a completely different meaning. They realized that whenever they tried to imagine their future without you somewhere in it, something felt incomplete. And then came the thought that changed the entire night: perhaps the reason they could never completely let go was because their feelings were never temporary. Stay till the end, because that realization led them toward a decision they had been avoiding for much longer than you realize. Then something even more unexpected happened inside their heart. Instead of wondering whether you still cared, they started thinking about what they could actually do to rebuild the closeness between you. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate is no longer thinking only about feelings, they are thinking about action. They imagined finally having the conversation they have rehearsed silently so many times. They imagined telling you what they held back, explaining why they hesitated, and showing you through genuine effort that their feelings deserve to be taken seriously. Don't skip, because one question kept returning again and again: what if this is my moment to stop waiting? And by the end of the night, they were closer than ever to answering it, but the biggest revelation is still ahead. Your soulmate now understands something they couldn't clearly see before. They don't want another chapter filled with unanswered questions. They want clarity. They want to know what could happen if both of you finally speak openly and allow this connection to unfold naturally. Stay till the end, because what they are considering next may be far more meaningful than a simple message. Something huge is waiting for you. Last night gave them the courage to imagine taking a genuine step toward you, and now there is one final hesitation standing between their feelings and that decision. Once you discover what that hesitation is, and what made them finally question it, you'll understand why last night may have changed everything. Just when your soulmate thought they had understood everything, one final thought from last night changed the meaning of it all. They suddenly remembered the exact moment when they first realized you were different from everyone else, and that memory brought back feelings they had tried to keep quiet. Don't skip, because this wasn't simply nostalgia, it became the missing piece behind their hesitation. Your soulmate realized they hadn't been holding back because the connection meant too little, they had been hesitating because it meant more than they knew how to handle. Stay till the end, because once they admitted that truth to themselves, another realization followed immediately: if they continue waiting forever, they may never discover what the two of you could actually become. Something huge is waiting for you, and their thoughts are now moving toward a choice that seemed impossible only yesterday. What happened next surprised even them. Instead of replaying the past, your soulmate started imagining a completely different future, one where there are no confusing signals, no endless guessing, and no important words left unspoken. They imagined sitting across from you and finally explaining everything clearly. Don't skip, because there is something they desperately want you to understand: their silence never meant you were forgotten. In fact, last night made them realize how often you still appear in the smallest moments of their day. A familiar song, a quiet evening, a random memory, somehow their thoughts keep returning to you. But now something has changed. Rather than simply thinking about you, they are asking themselves what meaningful step could bring the two of you closer. Stay till the end, because the answer they reached is where this story takes its biggest turn yet. And here is the revelation they weren't expecting: your soulmate realized that waiting for the perfect moment may have been the very thing keeping them stuck. Something huge is waiting for you, because they are beginning to understand that meaningful connections aren't built through perfect timing, they are built when someone finally chooses honesty over hesitation. Don't skip. There is still one thing they want to say, something they have rehearsed in their mind but never found the courage to express. Last night brought those words closer to the surface than ever before. And if they follow through with what they are now considering, the next chapter between you may begin with a conversation neither of you expected to have so soon. Stay till the end, because what they want to reveal next could explain everything. Something completely unexpected became clear to your soulmate when they stopped questioning their feelings and finally listened to what their heart had been repeating all night. There was one truth they could no longer hide from themselves: you still matter to them in a way they cannot easily explain. Don't skip, because this is where the story takes a powerful turn. They began remembering the smallest details about you, the way certain conversations felt different, the comfort they associated with your presence, and those moments when they wanted to say more but stopped themselves. Stay till the end, because last night they finally understood that those memories kept returning for a reason. They weren't simply remembering the past, they were realizing what they still wanted for the future. Something huge is waiting for you, because this realization pushed them closer to doing something they had repeatedly talked themselves out of doing. But then came the moment that changed their entire perspective. Your soulmate asked themselves one simple question: if I had the chance to say everything honestly, what would I tell them first? Suddenly, the answer became clear. They would tell you that their hesitation was never a reflection of your worth. They would tell you that they had been trying to understand feelings that became deeper every time they attempted to ignore them. Don't skip, because another surprising realization followed. Your soulmate no longer wants you to interpret silence as an answer. They know that if anything meaningful is going to happen, words must finally replace assumptions. Stay till the end, because they are now considering exactly how that conversation could begin, and what they want to reveal first could completely change your understanding of what happened last night. And now everything comes down to one decision. Your soulmate can continue protecting themselves behind uncertainty, or they can finally take the emotional step they have imagined again and again. Something huge is waiting for you, because last night brought them closer to choosing courage. Don't skip. They are beginning to realize that the biggest regret wouldn't be speaking honestly and discovering the truth, it would be remaining silent and always wondering what could have happened. That realization is changing them. Stay till the end, because there is still one detail from last night that hasn't been uncovered, and it may be the most important one yet. It explains why their feelings suddenly became impossible to dismiss, and why the next move they are considering could arrive much sooner than anyone expected. There is one detail from last night your soulmate keeps returning to, because the more they think about it, the more everything begins to make sense. In one quiet moment, they stopped thinking about what had gone wrong and started remembering what had always felt right about you. Don't skip, because this realization changed the question inside their mind. Instead of asking, "Why do I still feel this way?" they began asking, "Why have I waited so long to be honest about it?" Stay till the end, because that question opened something they had kept closed for far too long. Your soulmate realized that some of their strongest feelings were hidden behind hesitation, and suddenly the silence between you didn't feel comfortable anymore. Something huge is waiting for you, because they are no longer satisfied with simply wondering what you might be thinking. They want clarity, and for the first time, they are considering being the person who creates it. Then their thoughts move toward something even bigger. Your soulmate imagined what would happen if they finally stopped protecting every emotion and allowed you to see the truth. They thought about telling you that certain memories never disappeared, that your presence left a deeper impression than they originally admitted, and that last night made those feelings impossible to overlook. Don't skip, because this is where their thinking changed from "maybe someday" to "why not now?" They realized that another week, another month, or another season of waiting might only create more unanswered questions. Stay till the end, because there is one sentence they keep imagining themselves saying to you, a sentence that could finally explain why their behavior sometimes seemed uncertain even when their feelings were strong. Something huge is waiting for you, and those words are getting harder for them to keep inside, but here is the twist your soulmate didn't expect: the biggest thing holding them back may no longer be strong enough to stop them. Last night showed them that uncertainty can remain forever if nobody chooses to break it. Don't skip, because they are now considering a genuine step toward you, not something dramatic, but something meaningful enough to open the door they once kept closed. They want to know whether the connection they feel can become something real instead of remaining an endless question. Stay till the end, because their next realization goes even deeper. There is something specific about you that made them believe this connection deserves another look, and once they understood it, their entire attitude began to shift. Something huge is waiting for you, because what your soulmate recognized in you last night may be the exact reason they finally decide to stop waiting. What your soulmate recognized last night was something they had overlooked for far too long. Whenever they imagined the kind of connection where they could finally feel understood, respected, and completely themselves, their thoughts somehow returned to you. Don't skip, because this realization caught them completely by surprise. They began remembering moments when you understood things they never had to explain, moments when your presence brought a strange sense of calm, and moments they only appreciated after they were gone. Stay till the end, because suddenly your soulmate understood why moving forward had never felt as simple as they expected. It wasn't because they were trapped in yesterday, it was because something about this connection still felt unfinished. Something huge is waiting for you, because last night they stopped seeing that unfinished feeling as a question and started seeing it as a reason to finally seek an answer. Then came the thought that made everything even clearer. Your soulmate realized they had spent so much time wondering how you might respond that they had forgotten something important. They cannot know the truth without giving honesty a chance. Don't skip, because that realization pushed them beyond the place where fear once controlled every decision. They imagined reaching out, hearing your voice, and finally saying what they had rehearsed silently. But there was something different this time. Instead of imagining everything that could go wrong, they began imagining what could finally go right. Stay till the end, because this was the turning point. Something huge is waiting for you. They pictured a conversation where neither of you needed to guess anymore. A moment where everything hidden beneath silence could finally become clear. And for the first time, that possibility felt stronger than their hesitation, but the biggest shift happened when your soulmate asked themselves what they would regret more, discovering the truth or never giving this connection a real opportunity. The answer arrived almost immediately. Don't skip, because this is where last night became more than another emotional moment. It became the beginning of a decision. Your soulmate is realizing that waiting indefinitely will never create the future they secretly hope for. Stay till the end, because they are closer than ever to making their intentions clear. Something huge is waiting for you, and there is still one final truth they must accept before taking that step. It concerns what they genuinely want from you, not just today, not just for one conversation, but for whatever could come next. And when that truth finally becomes clear, everything you thought you understood about last night may suddenly look completely different. Now the truth your soulmate has been avoiding is finally becoming impossible to ignore. Last night, beneath all the memories and unanswered questions, they realized they don't simply want one conversation with you, they want to discover whether something deeper can genuinely grow between you. Don't skip, because this realization surprised them more than anything else. For so long, they believed keeping their emotions quiet would make everything easier, but silence only created more questions. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that what they truly want isn't another temporary moment. They want honesty, consistency, and a chance to see where this connection could lead when neither person is hiding behind uncertainty. And once they admitted that to themselves, the decision they had been postponing suddenly became much clearer. but there was another powerful moment last night. Your soulmate imagined seeing you again after everything that has remained unsaid, and instead of thinking about the perfect words, they imagined simply being truthful. Don't skip, because that changed everything. They realized they don't need a perfect speech or a perfect moment, they need courage strong enough to begin. Something huge is waiting for you, because the first thing they want you to understand is that their feelings didn't suddenly appear overnight. Last night simply made them impossible to dismiss. Stay till the end, because your soulmate is now considering a step that could finally replace guessing with clarity. They want to open the door carefully, honestly, and see whether you are willing to meet them there. And there is one particular thing they hope to hear from you that could determine what happens next. Here is where the story becomes even more surprising. Your soulmate isn't searching for some dramatic answer. What they truly want is a sign that an honest conversation would be welcomed. Don't skip, because once they realized this, much of the hesitation they carried began to disappear. They are no longer asking whether their feelings are real, they are asking whether now is finally the moment to express them. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Last night may have started with uncertainty, but it ended with your soulmate closer to a decision than ever before. And there is still one final piece they haven't fully faced. If they choose to take this step, they know things between you may never return to the way they were before. That possibility once made them hesitate, but now, surprisingly, it may be exactly what they want. This is the moment your soulmate could no longer avoid, because last night brought them face to face with the one possibility they had secretly been hoping for, that everything between you could change if someone finally had the courage to speak first. Don't skip, because what they understood next transformed hesitation into something much stronger. They realized they were no longer afraid of things becoming different, they were afraid of everything staying exactly the same. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate began imagining what honesty could unlock between you, a real conversation, clear intentions, and perhaps a completely different chapter from the one either of you expected. They understood that nothing meaningful could begin while both hearts remained hidden behind unanswered questions. And suddenly, taking that first step didn't seem impossible anymore, it seemed necessary. Then came the realization that made last night unforgettable. Your soulmate stopped asking themselves whether they should wait for another sign and started wondering whether their own decision could become the turning point. Don't skip, because this is where their thoughts became clearer than ever. They want to approach you without games, confusion, or impossible promises. They simply want to tell you what they genuinely feel and discover what is real between you. Something huge is waiting for you, because they finally understand that your answer cannot be predicted inside their imagination. It has to come from an honest moment between the two of you. Stay till the end, because this is exactly why the news from last night feels so urgent. Your soulmate may finally be ready to stop rehearsing the conversation in their mind and start considering how to make it real. And now the biggest truth has surfaced. Last night wasn't important because of one mysterious moment, it was important because your soulmate finally became honest with themselves. Don't skip. They admitted that you still matter, that unanswered questions still remain, and that this connection deserves clarity instead of endless guessing. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Whatever happens next cannot be guaranteed, but one thing inside your soulmate has changed. They no longer want hesitation making every decision for them. They want truth. They want understanding. And most of all, they want to discover whether the connection they have been thinking about for so long has a future beyond imagination. Last night gave them the question they can no longer ignore, and their next move may finally bring the answer. But just when your soulmate believed they had finally understood everything, one last realization changed the entire meaning of last night. Don't skip, because this is the detail they couldn't stop thinking about when morning arrived. They realized that reaching out isn't really about finding the perfect words, it's about finally allowing the truth to exist outside their thoughts. For so long, they imagined every possible outcome, but last night something inside them became calmer. They understood that they don't need to know exactly where this connection will lead before taking one honest step. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is beginning to see that clarity can only come after courage, and this time they may be willing to choose courage first. That shift is important, because it means their next move could be far more intentional than anything you have seen from them before. And then another thought appeared, one that made them look at you in a completely different way. Your soulmate realized that what they miss most isn't simply your attention, it's the feeling of being understood when you were emotionally present. Don't skip, because this distinction changed everything. They don't want to return just because memories are powerful. They want to understand whether something genuine can be built from everything those memories taught them. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They started thinking about what they could do differently this time, communicate more clearly, listen more carefully, and stop allowing assumptions to speak louder than honesty. Last night made them realize that if they approach you again, they cannot simply repeat the past. Whatever comes next has to be different, and they know that difference must begin with them. Now your soulmate is standing at the edge of the decision they have avoided for so long. Don't skip, because this is where everything has been leading. They can remain inside the safety of imagination, wondering forever what you might have said, or they can finally allow reality to answer the question. Something huge is waiting for you. Stay till the end, because one final thought is becoming stronger inside them. Perhaps the biggest surprise isn't what happened last night, but what last night inspired them to do next. They are no longer searching for another reason to wait. They are searching for the right way to begin. And once they decide how to take that first genuine step toward you, the silence that has carried so many unanswered questions may finally be replaced by the conversation both hearts have been waiting for. Something changed inside your soulmate the moment they stopped asking what might happen and started asking what they truly wanted. Don't skip, because this is where last night's urgent news becomes even more powerful. They realize they don't want another day filled with imagined conversations and unanswered questions. They want a real moment of truth with you. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Deep inside, they know that whatever happens afterward, honesty would finally free both of you from constantly wondering what the other person feels. And that realization gave them a kind of confidence they didn't have before. Your soulmate is no longer thinking only about whether they should approach you, they are thinking about how to approach you in a way that feels sincere, calm, and impossible to misunderstand. Then came the thought that surprised them most. They imagined finally having your attention and realized the first thing they wanted to give you wasn't some dramatic promise, it was an explanation. Don't skip, because they know there are things you may have questioned about their behavior, their hesitation, and the moments when they seemed emotionally distant. Last night made them recognize that.